This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America for this Tuesday morning. We just wound up the handicappers report, and coming out of that, I will remind you, Parks has canceled for this afternoon due to some inclement weather aiming their way. Coming up on Racing Across America this Tuesday morning, we will talk some racing, various venues, and hopefully the weather will be better at these three. We're going to talk with Tony Kalo from Finger Lakes. Closing day at Finger Lakes. We'll get some ideas on some horses running there this afternoon, but we'll also talk and look back a little bit at the meet there at Finger Lakes in 2013. Bottom of the hour, Gary Johnson at Beulah Park. We'll get some ideas there for this afternoon. And about 10:45 or so, Michael Chamberlain from Turf Paradise. Got to imagine out there in Arizona things are looking a little bit better than they are up here in the Northeast. Although he said when we had Michael Chamberlain on last week, they were in the 70s, but they were looking at the cold spell that I think eventually became the weather we've had up in the Northeast the past few days. So we'll see if that's cleared out down in his neck of the woods. And again, get some info for racing this afternoon at Turf Paradise. Do want to remind you once again of some of the promos and events going on either via the website or here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Lucky Saturdays coming up the next 3 Saturdays, December 14th, 21st, and 28th. All patrons coming down to the Clubhouse Racebook on those Saturdays will receive an entry slip to participate in some random drawings. The random drawings will be held at 1, 2, and 3 p.m. with 2 patrons being selected each time. Excuse me. And if you're selected, you get a chance to win the Cash Cube machine. You get to step in there or spin the big wheel. If you step into the Cash Cube machine, you get 20 seconds to grab as much funny money as possible, and then you take that total amount of what you grab, and you're going to receive a win, place, or show bet on the next race at Aqueduct for that amount. Sounds like fun. As I said earlier, I just want to come down and watch somebody in the Cash Cube, pulling in the money, pulling in the funny money. So one of the patrons that's selected each hour will participate in that. The other one will get to spin the big wheel. And you can win some different items, racing merchandise or bet vouchers. Should be fun. Again, it's the next 3 Saturdays down here at the Clubhouse Racebook, December 14th, 21st, and 28th. Come on down, Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Also down here at the Clubhouse Racebook next Sunday, December 15th. Steve Bick, my partner on Loose on the Lead, and also the host of Sirius and XM's At the Races, will have a $500 bankroll. 25 lucky patrons will randomly be drawn at about 1:30 on that Sunday afternoon. Participate in the $500 bankroll. Again, that's next Sunday, December 15th. You got to come down here, Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. And as I say, 25 folks will be selected to randomly participate in the Bick bankroll. Also, bet 50, get 50. A reminder on that. If you don't have a Capital Bets wagering account at this point, you're brand new, sign up. As soon as you bet your first 50, Capital OTB chunks in another 50 for you. So free money there. Find out more about that on capitalotb.com. All right, some news. And I wanted to touch on, right at the top, Anthony Mormino and I were talking yesterday about the triple dead heat that happened out at Hollywood Park. And it was kind of interesting. Hollywood Park has a section on their website where they put up photo finishes. I don't know what their timing is. I looked again this morning, and they didn't have the photo finishes for Sunday up. They're up for Saturday. So I'm not sure whether it may just be a situation of photos don't go up until the next racing day, perhaps, and so nobody is in the office to do it. So maybe they'll come up as the next racing day comes up out at Hollywood Park. But Sunday's photos aren't up at this point. But yesterday, Anthony Mormino and I were talking about the stakes race out there at Hollywood on Sunday. There was a winner, and then there was a triple dead heat for second. And I commented that I wanted to see the photo. It's kind of unique, triple dead heat. And we were talking about, gee, the photo hasn't come up yet. And you would think they would put that up right away. Well, subsequently, there you see on the screen, Daily Racing Form did get hold of the photo, and they have a little article about it today. And it's interesting because, as you can see there, it's kind of hard to see, particularly the horse in the middle in that pack of place horses. And I actually had an Equidaily reader email me kind of questioning the dead heat result yesterday. And I went And he had seen the photo on the video replay, the head-on replay after the race was over showed the photo. And I took a look at that, and to me that was inconclusive because I just thought the resolution was not good. So I said to him, I'll wait until the photo shows up on the Hollywood Park website and then decide. He was kind of questioning, is it a dead heat? And it's kind of hard to make a decision. Subsequently, I found this article on the Racing Forum website. I also have it linked at the top of the page on Equidaily today. And it's interesting, as I say, the photo is there. You can take a look at the photo for yourself. But what's interesting is it's a triple dead heat because the photo is inconclusive. The stewards say because the mirror image did not make things any clearer. The jockey on the winning horse kind of blocks some of the action in that place photo. And so they looked at it for the better part of 10 minutes, I guess. The steward spent 10 minutes reviewing the photo. And because it was inconclusive, as you can tell there, they had to declare it a dead heat. So a couple of the horses' noses you can pretty much see on the line. One of them is obscured by that winning jockey. And as such, the stewards had no choice. They looked and looked and looked. As I say, the mirror image did not sort things out any better. And one of the stewards said, we call them hidden nose dead heats. Another steward said, if you can't separate them, you've got to dead heat them. And they couldn't separate them because they couldn't see conclusively dead heat or not dead heat. So again, I just found that kind of interesting. The photo is on that Daily Racing Forum article. As I say, I have that linked at Equidaily. You can look at that yourself. And I don't bring this up because I think there's any nefarious, as I say. I had an email yesterday from somebody who looked at it and wondered. I bring it up because I think that's completely legitimate. I think what happened was the stewards looked at it and couldn't decide, which then in turn, if you as a fan look, you probably won't be able to decide either, and so you may scratch your head and think, how is this done? They explain how it's done. If they can't see, it's inconclusive, it becomes a dead heat. So it's just kind of an interesting story, triple dead heat. And you tie that in with the photo, made for a kind of an interesting, quirky little situation out at Hollywood on Sunday. Also, in this course of the conversation yesterday with Anthony Mormino, we were talking a little bit also about how the Hong Kong website and the Hong Kong races, we enjoy the Hong Kong website. I tied that into a Mike Watchmaker column from about a week ago, talking about the Remsen, where having that incredibly quirky, slow pace, Mike Watchmaker's column stated that, in situations like that, stewards really have to call the jockeys in and say, what were you thinking? That's a crazy slow pace. Why were you so far back? And then be transparent and report those conversations to the public. And I stated, a lot of the other jurisdictions that happens, love to see that happen. I had said for years and years, I wanted to see a daily stewards racing report on racetrack websites. It's become such an easy way to disseminate information, like photo finishes, which for years would be pinned on a bulletin board at a racetrack. Well, now you can get it to all your racing fans via website. Some of the tracks haven't even added that. A lot of them have. That was something I called for years and years ago. As I say, some racetracks now you can go find those photo finishes, and some racetracks you can go find daily stewards reports. They just aren't as comprehensive as I would like to see. And yesterday in the conversation, I brought up Hong Kong. Subsequently, there was a Caulfield stewards report from Australia that was online. And I just find it instructive because I'd love to see this at American racetrack websites. A daily stewards report, comprehensive, things like this. And this is interesting. This is the Caulfield stewards report from December 7th, this past weekend. Race number 1, the start of the race. This is just part of just a daily stewards report. The start of the race was delayed 8 minutes due to the non-arrival of Kay Nesbitt, declared rider of Lord of the Sky. Time was required to seek a suitable replacement. Stewards interviewed Kay Nesbitt, who explained that she had left Flemington in ample time to arrive on course to fulfill her engagement, but had been severely delayed due to heavy traffic. It's something as mundane as that, but it just shows the stewards are paying attention and then taking the time to explain, hey, here's why your jockey didn't show up. Here's why we had to have a substitute jockey. You go down a couple of races more. They're going horse by horse through the field. You have one of the horses, Miss Promiscuity. Slow to begin, rider L. Nolan stated that his filly, in his view, is better suited to racing on the pace. A little further along, the seventh race of the day, Smarty Mac, the horse, trainer advised, would be ridden back in the field and was ridden accordingly. Trainer advised after the race the gelding would now be spelled. Medvedev, L. Nolan, the jockey, reported the gelding may improve over more distance and with more give in the track. In other words, if horses are not performing up to their expectations, the past performances, the stewards go in, talk to the jockey, get an explanation, and then that is presented to the public in one of these daily stewards reports. As noted when we had the discussion yesterday, I think in Asia, Australia, Hong Kong, they do that much better than they do over here. I would love to see the racing over here get more into this kind of thing, because I think again, the point is just to show the stewards are watching out for the betting public. And some of these things go on here, but they're not reported. Occasionally, you'll read stories about stewards called in the jockeys to watch films the day after a race. There was an incident; it wasn't enough to warrant an inquiry or a disqualification, but jockeys were called in for viewing the films, and the stewards had a discussion. But you'll see that in passing, maybe in an article. It happens much more often than is reported, though. Again, if the stewards talk to jockeys, we should see it. We should know here in America, hey, stewards are watching out for us and talking to the jockeys, and here's what the jockeys said in response. So again, there's some models out there already that would be worth paying attention to, including Hong Kong and Australia. Also in the news over the past couple of days, just looking through here, there was some interesting tidbits. Some of these I can say. Oh, one of these, one I found very interesting to illustrate how different it is over there in Europe. Horse Racing Ireland, which is the overseeing body of racing, obviously, in Ireland, they had their year-end award ceremony within the past couple of days on Monday. They had it yesterday. So the news came out towards the end of yesterday who the various winners, the year-end winners were. The Horse of the Year in Ireland, voted by Horse Racing Ireland, Hurricane Fly. And I mentioned that this horse made the news a couple of weeks ago by recording his 17th Group or Grade 1 victory, which had him pass the record for Grade 1 victories in the world. One of the horses he passed, I believe, was John Henry. So it was kind of a notable accomplishment a couple of weeks ago when Hurricane Fly got his 17th career Grade 1 race. But what is more notable? Hurricane Fly's a jump horse. So there's a little asterisk, I think, next to that Grade 1 career victory category, and that's okay. But more importantly, just to show how different it is over there in Ireland, a jump horse is Horse of the Year. I've said it before. You go over to Ireland and the UK, Britain, jump racing certainly has a higher level of attention over there. And that's partly due to the fact that there are a couple of distinct seasons. There's the flat season, which winds up in October or November, and then really until April or so, it's a jump season for the most part. Now, there is all-weather racing over there in the off-season, as it were, so there are flat races. But the attention and the higher class of racing is jump racing over there during this time of year, really, and then up to about Cheltenham in the spring. But it was very, very interesting to see Hurricane Fly named Horse of the Year, as I say, a jump winner, wins it over a pretty stellar list of nominations that included Dawn Approach, Magician, Declaration of War. So there were some flat horses that were up for the award, but it winds up to be a jump horse winning as Horse of the Year in Ireland. And again, I just bring that up because I find it interesting that Ireland, Horse of the Year, a jump horse, just goes to show how different things are over there. All right, we're going to head to our first break, but as we do, speaking of over there, yesterday we took a look at one of the Hong Kong international races from this past Sunday in Hong Kong, obviously. We looked at the King Krisa race. King Krisa was out there kind of duking it out early, faded late, so a little bit of a disappointment for King Krisa. Just wanted to show the other American runner that was over in Hong Kong this weekend. Again, it's disappointing, but I wanted to give you a look at the race. We will watch the Hong Kong Cup going into the commercial. Little Mike is going to be the number 3 horse. Mike Smith on board. Dale Romans trains. Little Mike is going to wind up running 9th in the field of 12. But again, Little Mike is the 3 horse in here. Just wanted to give you a look at this race. After the race, Mike Smith said he had some good position, felt pretty good about Little Mike, and then tipped Little Mike out. And Little Mike went wide around the turn, and after that, Mike Smith just felt they didn't have the oomph to win the race. Smith wondered if he kept Little Mike in Would that have been better? But then he said he didn't think he'd get the run. That wasn't going to be quite a possibility. So he was, damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of a situation. But again, we'll go to the break. We'll watch the Hong Kong Cup from this past Sunday. Aqib Mofed is going to win the race with top Hong Kong jockey Doug White on board, Mike Smith on board, the number 3, Little Mike. We'll let you look at that one. When we come back from the race, we'll be joined by Tony Kalo. Closing day at Finger Lakes. Stay tuned.
The favourite, Military Attack. Let the war begin. The cup's on its way. And Military Attack is in the second half of the field, and Purton snagging him back together with Rainbow Chic. And getting the best of the start was Tokai Halo from Same World, and Little Mike out well. And he's cruising across into the rails in third. Aqib Mofed sits behind him in fourth, and Cirrus de Zeg inches closer on the outside of Grandeur. Followed by Niatico, caught 3 deep. Side glance back on the fence. Then Endowing from Blazing Speed. Military Attack second last, and 2 lengths behind him is Rainbow Chic. 25-7 the Japanese horses run Tokai Halo, an uncontested lead, but he's going quick enough to keep them at bay. 2.5 lengths in front of Same World, 3 off to Little Mike. 1.5 lengths to Cirrus de Zeg, the Derby winner, Aqib Mofed on the fence. Niatico's got into a good spot. Then Grandeur the rails, 3/4 to Sidelands pulling. Blazing Speed, Mossay's got him down on the fence from Endowing. Military Attacks on the rails as well, and Rainbow Chic 3/4 away. 24-7 the next split. Tokai Halo's going at a pace that they just can't put any pressure on him. He's free striding by 3 lengths to Same World with Little Mike third. Cirrus de Zeg punching the breeze in fourth on the outside of Aqib Mofed. Then Niatico from Grandeur the rails, 1.5 lengths to Side Glance from Blazing Speed. Then Endowing from Military Attack. The favourite starting to poke between runners down the side of the course, and Rainbow Chic is back last of all as Tokai Halo comes back to Same World off the fence. Little Mike moves up 3 deep. Sumion's tracking into the race nicely on Cirrus de Zeg. Douglas White's on the fence on Aqib Mofed. He's scraping paint as Tokai Halo comes back towards the rails, and Cirrus de Zeg's got clearer running from Aqib Mofed. Now Military Attack's well back in the field going between them. It's Tokai Halo kicking. Aqib Mofed's trying to push out of a pocket. Cirrus de Zeg keeps him there. Military Attack, he's launching a final claim. Aqib's off the fence. Here he comes. Aqib Mofed rests the lead in the cup, and Aqib Mofed draws away to beat Tokai Halo. Third's a photo between Cirrus de Zeg and Military Attack. Then Side Glance from Blazing Speed. Further back to Niatico, Grandeur from Little Mike, Endowing, Same World, and Rainbow Chic was last in the cup.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB Television Network.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at capitalotb.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I'm Steve Bick, inviting you to join me Sunday, December 15th at the Clubhouse Racebook. I'll be handicapping the day's races live and managing a $500 bankroll for 25 lucky patrons. To be part of the bankroll team, sign up at the Clubhouse Sunday by 1:30. We'll see you then, and let's win together.
Wagering at CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Capital Bet TV, the fastest and easiest online wagering experience where you can monitor 5 different tracks simultaneously. 2. Capital Bet Express. Its straightforward program layout and interactive handicapping information lets you build your wager quickly and efficiently. And 3. Capital Bet Pro, designed especially for the professional horse player. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
I'm Anthony Mormino. Join me weekdays at 9 for the Handicappers Report. We'll handicap the top tracks across the country and help you prepare for the day in racing. That's the Handicappers Report, weekdays at 9, only on the OTB TV network.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Tuesday morning. Seth Merrow in here, happy to be joined by Tony Kalo for the final time as far as the Finger Lakes season is concerned. Hopefully we'll have Tony on during the off-season a little bit, certainly. But Tony, wrapping things up at Finger Lakes, I hate to see it go because I've had a pretty good fall out there at Finger Lakes. Tony, good morning.
Morning, Seth.
And Tony, speaking of good weeks and good meets and good calls at Finger Lakes, I just wanted to go back before we talk a little bit about today and the 2013 season in general. Just wanted to go back to last Tuesday for a little Tony Kalo selection that is worth tipping our cap to. You were on with us last Tuesday, looked at a few races, including the 10th race. We're going to watch the stretch run here. You said you liked Little Miss Lupe, and Little Miss Lupe goes off as the second choice at 9-5. Little Miss Lupe is the 8 horse. But then you snuck in and you said, you know what? A little bit of a price I like is the number 2, Mistretta. Mistretta goes off as 8-1, the second longest price in the field. So it is Little Miss Lupe, the number 8 horse, over the number 2, Mistretta. Nice little $35 exacta there.
Well, you guys are too kind to me. I think I might have even thrown the disclaimer that Mistretta was much better on a fast track than a wet track, but she's got a closing kick. She didn't really show it yesterday, but last week she came rolling through to get the exact, and I'll take any exact I can get. I'm just a ham and egger.
Like I say, Mistretta's second longest price in the field and completes a nice $35 exacta. So certainly, as I say, that's worth tipping our cap to as the season winds down. We're going to see if we can do some more of that this afternoon, as you have a few for us today. And give us an idea what the weather looks like on closing day. We were alerted earlier, Parks is canceled today. They've got some inclement weather down there in the Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, but what's your weather look like?
It's just basically cold, in the 20s. I don't really know if we're supposed to get some snow. It said possibly, but it looks like it's going to stay away. So just cold. Just cold, cold, cold. Western New York cold.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And we were talking a little bit during the break. The Finger Lakes season, again, winding down. Today's the last day. You've got a little trip scheduled to your old haunts out in California, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Northern California. My sister still lives out there. And so headed out there next week. Haven't seen my sister in a year and a half. And looking forward to seeing some old friends and, of course, catching up with my sister and my niece. Look, that's going to be some great holiday time.
Excellent. Have a safe trip because that's always fun to travel around, see the family. All right, Tony, let's take a look at some of the action for this afternoon before we get a little meet recap from you. But this afternoon, we'll take a look. First off, race number 2 at Finger Lakes. It is a B-level claimer at the $4,500 level. 3-year-olds and up, they're going 1.70 miles.
Well, it all started in late April, 4.5 furlong races, 9 to start the season, and 10 route races to conclude the Finger Lakes season. So that's something new from our recent secretary, Bill Couch, who came here this season, did a great job. So we've got 10 route races today, and race 2, if you're playing the early pick 4, I think the 1 and the 2 should get you home. I flip-flopped back and forth. Who was I going to go with? In the end, I've gone with Raffy's Choice, number 1. I based a lot of my Finger Lakes handicapping, especially in the last couple of months, on company lines. That's what got me to Little Miss Lupe last week. And if you remember, there was a horse that ran earlier in the day last Tuesday. Her name was Princess Katrina, and they both came out of the same race chasing Political Lady, who races today. And I thought Political Lady was strong company lines for both of them. So that's what's landed me on Raffy's Choice. He has really responded to the trainer change. On the late September, he was claimed by an Anthony Ferraro, who's really had a big season, winning 70 races locally. And you look at the company lines, and you see a horse named Mason's Comprise, and I believe Mason's Comprise would be odds-on against this group. And at 5-1, I think the price is a little too generous. I do not anticipate getting that. But Raffy's Choice will be my number 1 pick. I would box them with the 2 of Ash River, and I would use both of them to start the early pick 4.
I am right in line with everything you said, including I think that 5-1 is going to float down a little bit. I'll keep my fingers crossed that we get it, but I also had the 1 and the 2 on top in there. And the 1 on top for just the reasons you said. Since the claim, this horse has absolutely shown a little bit of improvement that seems to will be beneficial to today's racing as well.
You look at the company lines. Mason's Comprise and Class Clown, 1st and 3rd respectively in the 22nd of November affair. And I think that's the key for Rafi's choice. We're not going to get 5-1. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, and I said that on the handicapping show that seemed a little bit generous, but we can always hope. We'll keep our fingers crossed. At least it keeps us keeps a little juice in there. 7th race at Finger Lakes today. It is an open claimer, 7,500 to 8,500 tags. These are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They will go 1 mile. Your thoughts there?
Well, I know Wise Awake is the best horse in the race. I don't necessarily know if she's at her best distance. She's not bad routing, but she is much superior sprinting. I'm going to go with a sharp individual. Her name is April to the outside. I love it when horses win by double digits. Class jump is not that big of a factor in my eyes, especially when she was able to trounce by 14 plus. She's been to the winner's circle on 7 occasions. You toss out her first race locally, and she had the misfortune of running up against Supsa. Supsa had a very, very big year. Big year last year and a big year right back this year. I just think April's coming into her own, and the entry's going to be real short, and April probably will be around 5-2, 3-1, somewhere in that neighborhood, and I'd say let's take a shot with her.
Yeah, I used the entry on top. I did not use April, but I said when I handicapped, I have no real confidence in this entry. I think logically, yeah, they should be on top, but I think they're vulnerable. So I said then I would have no argument with somebody taking a little bit of a shot against. So as you say, it's one of those races that kicks off the pick 4, maybe a good spot to take a shot against a favorite on closing day of the meet. So as I say, no arguments there. 10th at Finger Lakes today, calendar condition claimer at the $4,500 level. They're going 1 mile and a 16th.
Well, it all boils down to the company lines once again, and I think the bottom horse has a big edge. He's a short price, been facing open competition, historically trouble in River City. 2-20, the horse that beat him 3 races ago, is a pretty good individual. There's Stop the Fever, who you and I both combined with earlier in the season. Things point to Ricky on the run. He looks like the logical player. He's 1 for 17 locally. I think that's some cause for concern at a short price, but it's a big class drop. Open 65 in for this calendar condition, as you like to call it, and I do like the way you have heard that. I've never heard anyone else say the calendar condition, and I'm probably going to start stealing that from you. I really like it, Seth.
I'm a trendsetter, baby.
Well, pardon me?
I'm a trendsetter.
There you are, exactly. I like it. So I think the 7's horse to beat. The 4 and the 6 also have looks, but the 7 on the class drop. If you can't handle this group, then we're going to have to stay away from them. But no cause for concern with the local record.
Yeah, I did not use Ricky on the run. I went with Awesome Mitch, but again, it was another one of those races where I wouldn't have any argument with folks playing around. Particularly the last race of any meet is always one where you can take a little bit of a shot. It seems like they typically wind up being a kind of fun races. All right, Tony, before we let you go, we do want to touch on it is closing day at Finger Lakes. As I said, I've had a lot of fun. I've handicapped Finger Lakes pretty much since Saratoga closed on the handicapping show on Mondays and Tuesdays in here, and I've had fun. I've done pretty well up at the Flakes. Closing day today. Let's take a look back and get some of the highlights perhaps. And to start things off, I pulled up the New York Derby from July 20th. That was certainly a highlight on the Finger Lakes calendar. Track was sloppy that day, but Amber Jack gets the job done for Mike Hushin. And that was an interesting race and an interesting win because Amber Jack had also won the Mike Lee. So this was the first 2 legs of the Big Apple Triple, which has that nice bonus. Subsequently, Amber Jack ran second in the Albany at Saratoga, but gave a little extra juice to that race, certainly, in the attempt for the Triple. But again, Amber Jack on this particular day, we're watching the stretch run, really took to the off-going up there at Finger Lakes.
Yeah, he got an excellent ride that afternoon, and proved to be much the best, and ran a big race in the Albany in defeat also. Nice horse, Amber Jack, and it was good to see him win the New York Derby. Horse found a nice seam at the top of the lane and just kicked away from his rivals. A good-looking performance from Amber Jack.
Any other races that stood out in your mind? And I told people this afternoon it's going to be a fun race because Frisky Warrior, the 2013 Finger Lakes Horse of the Year, makes the season finale on the last day of the meet, so that'll be fun. And then yesterday, 2012's Horse of the Year, Clean Gene, won up at Finger Lakes. But any races other than the New York Derby that stand out in your mind?
Well, obviously, I think the big one that stands out was the New York Breeders' Futurity, the performance Wired Brian put in. Our track had been very, very dull surrounding up to the New York Breeders' Futurity the week leading in and leading out, and he put up a huge number, a 110 and change race. And I remember after the race when I came on air with you, I had said that I anticipated his Beyer would be huge. And I heard you talking about it on your shows over the season, how smaller racetracks, they kind of snub us with the Beyers. And I've seen that throughout the course of the year with some of our horses. They put up a nice race and the Beyer number doesn't reflect it. Well, I have to give credit to the Beyer individuals because they didn't snub Wired Bryan's performance in the New York Breeders' Futurity. I believe he got a low 90, and he was able to come back on, I think it was a New York Showcase Day. He came back one of the days after that and ran a huge race. A very talented 2-year-old that I'm looking forward to see him develop.
Yeah, and not only on the equine side did we see a horse run well up at Finger Lakes that then went on to do other good things, and had done good things previously, obviously up at Saratoga, winning, running well up there in open company. Wired Bryan on the equine side. But on the human side, we had some folks coming out of Finger Lakes, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, as there had to be a lot of jubilation with Jeremiah Engelhardt winning the Breeders' Cup, being a Finger Lakes-based guy with Rio Antonio. And then this past weekend, although King Creasy didn't run well, it was still, to get a Finger Lakes guy over there in Hong Kong, that had to be fun too. So that had to be one of the stories up there at Finger Lakes during the 2013 season.
No question about it. I didn't mean to snub my boy Jeremiah. He's done a great job putting himself on the map, capturing a Breeders' Cup, and heading to Hong Kong. Just a tremendous year for Jeremiah Engelhardt, who works hard, and he deserves all his success. And locally, we had Jamie Rodriguez really step up, a young kid with a bright future, rides every day, a lot of races. You look at the amount of mounts that he has had all season compared to the jockeys underneath him. Boy, what a hard worker, and he was in the mix last year and couldn't quite get it done, and good to see a young kid win the jockey title. Of course, Chris Engelhardt is going to take something really special to dethrone Chris, but for Jamie Rodriguez to do what he did and dethrone John Davila. John Davila last year finished second to Wilfredo Rohina, so it's back-to-back years. And, John's got the edge riding for Chris, and he's got the years here, and he does a great job. But nice to see that we have a jockey's race the last couple of seasons.
And I'll also throw in, I thought Simon Husband, certainly percentage-wise, did pretty well with the move out to Finger Lakes.
I'm glad you bring him up. I tell my girlfriend all the time that I think he's a quality rider. I told everyone around here that I've been thoroughly impressed with what I've seen from him. It's just the way Wilfredo Rohina made a splash a few years ago when he showed up, kind of like when Dennis Carr showed up in 2008. I've known Dennis for a lot of years. He made a splash. Wilfredo made a splash. And I'll tell you what, Simon Husbands is an excellent jockey. Very versatile on the front end, from off the pace. He recognizes when there isn't pace, and he puts a closer into the race early. Been thoroughly impressed with the way he handles his horses.
Yeah, he's one of those guys this season, when I see the name up there, when I'm handicapping and his name's attached, I give him maybe a little extra check mark in the positive column. He's been one of those guys up there this season. Well, Tony, we'll wrap things up. We certainly absolutely appreciated the visits every Tuesday as we wound up the Finger Lakes season, when we moved back here from Saratoga back into the Albany studio. We've had you now for a couple of months on Tuesdays. It's been a lot of fun. We've gotten some good information. We've cashed some tickets, and always fun to talk to you. As noted, we'll make some contact during the off season and try to bring you back into the mix as well for some of your thoughts in this off season before Finger Lakes kicks back in next spring. But again, we appreciate the visit, and Tony, have a great off season, great holiday season as well.
Likewise, Seth, and thanks for having me on all these months, and thanks for having me make a personal appearance in Saratoga. That was one of the highlights of my summer, getting to do some live TV with yourself.
And mark that on your calendar for next year, too, because we've got you marked. We want you back on when we're up there at Saratoga. All right, Tony, again.
I'll tone it down. I'll pretend I'm not.
No.
I'll pretend I'm not in the squared circle. Sometimes I get a little Hulk Hogan in me.
No, you are one of our highlights. There's no question about it. All right, Tony, again, appreciate the visit. Happy holidays.
All right, Seth, I better hustle. I'm going to be late for the national anthem.
All
See
right.
you later, buddy.
Take it easy. Tony Kalo from the Finger Lakes. We'll take a break. When we come back, Gary Johnson, Beulah Park.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTV.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTV.com. Log on today.
Fascinated by the world of horse racing? Interested in honing your handicapping skills? Class is in session. Night school, Monday nights. Easy to access online. It's free, interactive, and informative for the casual and serious race fan. Horse Player Now Buzz. Live horses to watch emailed to you daily. Our eyes, your prize. Night School in the Buzz. Visit horseplayernow.com for details.
Each morning on the OTB TV network, you get the very best in horse racing programming. Weekdays begin with the Handicappers Report, where professional handicappers share their selections and analysis of the day's racing. Followed by Racing Across America, a daily conversation with racing personalities from around the country. Saturdays include Down the Stretch, where Mark Casano speaks with the biggest names in racing. And Sunday mornings, it's Loose on the Lead, where Steve Bick and I offer news and a unique lineup of weekly guests. All here on the OTB TV network.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
This is Steve Beck. Join me Tuesday through Saturday here on OTB TV for At the Races, my Sirius XM daily news magazine of the thoroughbred industry. Handicapping, interviews, analysis, everything you could want. 6 a.m. OTB TV.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. Tuesday morning means a regular visit from Gary Johnson from Beulah Park. Always want to remind people they can find Gary's selections on the Beulah Park website each and every racing day. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Seth.
What's for folks who are playing Beulah this afternoon, what's the weather look like? And have you gotten this crazy weather? It seems like mostly it probably went south of Ohio. So have you gotten anything? What's it look like today?
It's going to be very, very cold. I mean, the snow did come right through right through Columbus, but that was over the weekend, and the track's probably going to be a little frozen, a little fast, with the weather being so cold.
All right, let's kick things off and take a look at some of the afternoon's action. We're going to start right off in the opener. The opener at Beulah this afternoon is a maiden special weight event. These are 2-year-olds. They're going to go 6 furlongs. Your thoughts there?
Yeah, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start off with a winner. I'm going to give you a little slam dunk in the first, and then we'll take a couple shots later. But the first race, the number 4 horse, Sharon's Way. We got a couple angles here. Presque Isle Downs with the slots. I mean, they had some serious maidens up there. The people were coming in there to break their maiden, and Sharon's Way going from Presque Isle Downs to Beulah looks like to me like a cinch. Came out of a race where the winner came back and ran third to stake. The second horse won a $100,000 stake, and the third horse was a horse out of Grand Motion Farm. So those are the kind of folks and the kind of horses we'll never see at Beulah. And Sharon's Way shifts over to Beulah. And if you notice the trainer change, we're going from a 0-0 trainer to Donnie Rowe, who's 41% first time with a trainer. So we got some serious edges here on the 4 Sharon's Way.
Yeah, and I'm just looking and I'm smiling here because I'm seeing 5-2 on the morning line.
Wow.
That's got to float down because I'm looking at everything you just said. You're looking at these Presque Isle maiden purses, $35,000 and $41,000 as compared to $4,000 today out at Beulah. Then, as you say, the trainer change to a high percentage trainer, and Ed Pacar on board as well. I got to think that price is going to float down.
Yeah, what I'm hoping for in here is that the locals are going to jump on this Fitz, the Ohio bred, who I think isn't even the same league, but it is a local trainer and the form is okay. So, I'm looking at that 8-5 morning line and hoping that we can stick this horse by here at 7-5, 8-5 still to me.
Yeah, you might be right there because the buyer figure. I'm looking at the Daily Racing Form PPs, and the buyer figure was decent. So the betting public may put a little money on that one. So maybe we'll get some value with the number 4 Sharon's Way. But I'm completely in agreement on the class relief. The number 4 looks very, very interesting. All right, let's shift our attention now out to race number 4 this afternoon at Beulah Park. It's a plain vanilla claimer at the $3,500 level. These are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They're going to go a quick 5.5.
Yeah, what I'm looking at is since I'm going to win the first race and have a little money in my pocket, be up today, not chasing, I'm going to take a shot in here. The 8 Easy Baby, that's that top 5,000 condition race, but there was a lot of multiple winners in there. It was no easy spot. Had 4 winners at Beulah. But if you notice this race, we're going to have a lot of speed. We have the 2, 3, 4, 5 who all kind of need the lead. And, if they all go, Beulah, a lot of times we do get speed duels. I think the 8 horse Easy Baby, Will Come Flying. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a couple 50-cent try boxes. And I'm going to use another horse to 7, Summer West. So, we got 2 horses out of a common race. They both finished well. And I'm going to take these 2 and box them with a few horses in a try. But my top choice is going to be the 8. And then I'm going to use the 7, 15 to 1, 20 to 1.
All right, we like that. If you hit some try boxes with prices like those, certainly you'll get, if you start the day with some money and you hit these later, you'll end the day with some nice money, too.
Exactly. That's the key. Getting up early really makes it a lot easier when you're gambling.
Yeah, no question about it. 7th race today at Beulah. This one is a calendar condition claimer at the $2,500 level, 3-year-olds and up. Again, a quick 5.5.
Yeah, this is the race. Very interesting here. If you look at your racing form or the program, the number 2 horse, Honor Above Self. If you notice his comment, bolted, very wide, drifted out badly. Just consistently, he gets out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to visualize this race. I know the 1, You Bet Him Fast, is going to be playing second, chasing Honor Above Self. When he bolts, the 1's going to inherit the lead. I'm going to take a shot here. I'm going to go for the 1. You Bet Him Fast, little win and place bet, and I think at one point he'll have the lead in the stretch.
I like that. Not only the bet, it's now just going to make the race fun to watch because, as you say, you look down those comment lines, and this number 2 does look like a horse that may take a few more horses out with them as they hit the turn. So, yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm handicapping the race. I don't even know who's going to lay third. Not very much speed.
Well, if that morning line holds up, the win price is going to be decent. All right,
yes.
Gary, we'll wind things up, but before we do, we've talked many times in the past. You're a handicapping contest guy. You've already qualified yourself for the championship out in Las Vegas, and you mentioned last week or the week before you'd entered a recent contest just to kind of hone the skills as we're getting closer to the Las Vegas championship. Got anything coming up? Any contests coming up?
Actually, I was at Keeneland Turfway over the weekend. I did a Keeneland contest on Saturday. Never got out of the gate. I didn't not bolt it, but didn't come out of the gate. Was never in the game. On Sunday, I went over to Turfway and played. I was second with 4 races to go, and the bombs away came and blew me by, and I finished 14th. But hey, I was in. I had a shot.
Yeah, no. If you're up there in the top 3 with 4 races to go, that's just where you want to be. And then there's, it's the luck of the game. As you say, when those bombs come, I played in these contests before. The bombs win. You just then go over to the TV monitor and wait for that leaderboard to get updated and keep your fingers crossed that nobody had it. If they do, there's nothing you can do.
Exactly. Because if you're laying 20, 30, or 40, you're playing the bomb. So
yeah, exactly.
That's the way it goes. You flip them, and I guess I just take it a little bad luck. But I'm not going to play 30, 40 to 1. So unless I really like the horse, when I have a chance of winning.
But as you say, you make the great point. It gets down to the last few bullets in your holster, and you're sitting 40 or 50. Then you're taking the shot, and it may not even really be handicapping as much as just I'm taking a shot. That's all I've got left. And
without a doubt.
That can happen in those contests. All right, Gary. Absolutely, as always, we appreciate the visit. Good luck this afternoon, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, let's make some money, Seth. I'll talk to you later.
Absolutely. Gary Johnson of Beulah Park. Again, a reminder, you can catch Gary's selections each and every racing day on the Beulah Park website. We'll take our last break of the hour. We'll get some thoughts for this afternoon at Turf Paradise with Michael Chamberlain right after this.
I'm Jeff Carl. Join me Saturdays and Sundays at 9 for the Handicappers Report. We'll handicap the top tracks across the country and help you prepare for the weekend in racing. That's the Handicappers Report, weekends at 9, only here on the OTB TV network.
The future of online betting is here, and only at the all-new CapitalOTBBet.com. With a newly designed and engineered internet wagering platform, enhanced video streaming, additional funding options, and 3 new individual wagering opportunities, CapitalOTBBet.com delivers a state-of-the-art wagering experience found nowhere else in horse racing. Combine that with our all-new mobile website. You have 2 of the most powerful, innovative, and advanced wagering platforms available today. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
I'm Steve Bick, inviting you to join me Sunday, December 15th at the Clubhouse Racebook. I'll be handicapping the day's races live and managing a $500 bankroll for 25 lucky patrons. To be part of the bankroll team, sign up at the Clubhouse Sunday by 1:30. We'll see you then, and let's win together.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. As promised before the break, we are joined now by Michael Chamberlain from Turf Paradise. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
And we are having up here in the Northeast some funny weather at some of the various venues. Some folks are doing okay. Parks, of course, canceled. It has been wintertime weather over the past few days, though. And I guess part of this is coming out of your section of the country about this time last week. But what's your weather look like today?
Well, today we are expecting a sunny afternoon here at Turf, but it's going to be a little chillier than it normally is this time of year. The weather forecasters are telling us that winter is definitely here in Phoenix, which means it's all the way down in the 50s. So we're going to maybe hit the 60-degree mark some point this afternoon. But we expect a sunny day this afternoon, just a little chillier temperatures, which is good for the horses out on the racetrack. I know they like that cold weather a little bit more than the hot stuff we sometimes get here. So I'm sure they're enjoying it.
All right. So we'll look forward to weather that for you, a little chilly. For us, we'll still look at it with some envy, though, because it is definitely wintertime up in our neck of the woods. But before we get to some thoughts for this afternoon out at Turf Paradise, I wanted to go back to the weekend because you had a nice little stakes race on Saturday, and it was for 3-year-old and up. They are sprinting 6 furlongs. We're going to watch the stretch run here and watch the number 5 LA Weekend win. And I just pulled up this stakes race. And again, we see the number 5 on the rail here, LA Weekend, will pull away and win pretty convincingly as the 5 cent to $1 favorite. And I find this one interesting because, boy, you talk horse for a course. This horse loves Turf Paradise.
Absolutely. The defending champion in the Phoenix Gold Cup. I expect him to be ready to go to try it again this coming February. And I'll tell you, he at the top of the stretch, he was being challenged right when that clip was starting. But, I mean, he just motored away from everybody in the stretch so convincingly. And it was a very impressive performance. And the 6 furlong track record here at Turf Paradise is set by a horse named Twin Sparks, which I believe actually was in that same stakes race a few years ago. It ended up being the world record for the distance. And the LA Weekend was less than a second off of that time. So that tells you how very impressively that Robertino Diodoro horse was going. And we were all very happy to see that one come through and get a big win as a big favorite.
Yeah, now 4 for 4 over the Turf Paradise surface. This is a horse started the career in Southern California, but again, seems to have found a home out there at your racetrack, certainly, and did so very convincingly over the weekend. Yeah, the final time for the 6 furlongs, 107.39. That horse is motoring, so we'll keep our eyes open for this one, as you say, coming back in the stakes next time out, hopefully. All right, let's take a look at some action for this afternoon. You got a couple for us. We'll kick things off in race number 8 at Turf Paradise this afternoon. They're on the grass, claiming tags of $6,250 with a condition of non-winners of 3 lifetime. Your thoughts in the 8th?
I'm going to go with the 10-horse Tally Stick in here. Jennifer Reed has been aboard this horse all 3 starts this season. A win on the turf last time out, 2 seconds. The win on the turf came with Open claiming company, $6,250. So now you're coming back into a non-winners of 3 condition. I think that Tally Stick is going to be poised for a big effort today. 9-2 on the morning line. I'm not sure they're going to get that number. It's a big deal, a very bulky field of 12. So you may see that price float up a little bit. The morning line favorite is the horse on the rail, Lexington Park, at 4-1. So it's second choice in the wagering. But I think Tally Stick could run big today, second time on the turf here at Turf.
Yeah, and I like this kind of an angle. I like an angle where a horse comes back in essentially the same condition, but this one's coming back in what, for folks who are maybe new to the game, is a little bit of a lesser condition, in that this horse was in Open last time, now in a conditional. So essentially, this horse is coming back after a win, dropping slightly condition-wise anyway, not price tag, but as you say, That was a nice move on the Turf Paradise Turf for the first time. So some things add up. If we do get the 9-2, that'll be very generous, and we'll look for that. But as you say, the couple angles that you like, I also think are interesting with that one. All right, let's shift our attention to the 9th at Turf Paradise today. A B-level claimer, $3,000 tags. Fillies and Mares, 3-year-olds and up. They're going to go a quick 5.5.
I'm going to go with the horse down on the rail here, number 1, Nadine. Mike Chambers has been the leading trainer here at Turf Paradise many times in the past, and one of his favorite combinations as far as jockeys go is Ann Von Rosen, and Ann is going to have the ride on this filly today. This horse was leading late last time out on a wet fast track on November 23rd at this 5.5 furlong distance, and just got caught right at the end and ended up settling for second. But I think with the fast track today, and that last race was with $3,200 claimers, but it was a state-bred condition, and this is not a state-bred race today. So the class is going to be a little bit of a question mark here as far as racing with the non-state restricted horses today. But I think that Nadine for Mike Chambers is going to be ready to go. This horse has 3 in-the-money finishes and 6 starts at Turf Paradise, and you'll also notice that the horse did post a bullet workout earlier in November. They tried one start at 5 furlongs with superior claimers to what she'll be facing today, and ended up running 9th, and really was her first start off the layoff, so I'll forgive that one. She came back with a good effort the second time out. Now, third time off the layoff, and I think that number 1, Nadine, is going to run big this afternoon.
Yeah, third time off the layoff, and with that nice improvement, start 1 to start 2, having shown the speed, probably show that speed again today from the rail you would expect. So Nadine certainly looks very good. Michael,
and I think there's a lack of other speed in the race, so you may just see her go to the lead and never look back.
Yeah, and from the rail, as they say, typically they show some speed anyway, so that's going to be a bonus. Michael, before we let you go, we're now a ways into the Turf Paradise meet. Jockeys and trainers that stand out. Certainly, we've talked before. Looks like Scott Stevens having a pretty good season.
Scott Stevens is having an outstanding year. Of course, Jorge Carreño has been winning races in bunches, too. It's good to see Galen Mitchell back here. We've all been very excited when he won his first race this season. It was something that a lot of people got very happy about. He's had a bit of a tough time of it lately. He was injured in a spill here last year, and then he had some other health issues over the course of this year. So for him to come back and ride as good as he's doing, that's great news. And, of course, the usual trainer names, Robertino Diodoro, Mike Chambers, Miguel Silva. You also want to throw Jeff Metz and Dan McFarland into that list as well, because these are all guys that are hitting at high percentages here at Turf so far this season, and their names to be keeping an eye on as we go forward.
Yeah, as I say, once you get about this point into the meet, it's good to reassess a little bit and see who maybe has gotten a little bit hot at this particular meet. Any meet like this, once you're a ways in, as I say, go back and reassess and see if somebody maybe sticks out as having a particularly hot meet. All right, Michael, we appreciate the visit, as always, on Tuesdays. Good luck this afternoon. We'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Michael Chamberlain from Turf Paradise. Prior to that, Gary Johnson, Beulah Park, and Tony Kalo from Finger Lakes on the Finger Lakes closing day. So that should be fun, wrapping things up in upstate New York. That's going to wrap things up for Racing Across America. Just once again, we'll run through some of the promos here at the Clubhouse Racebook or via the website. Bet 50, Get 50 promotion is going on all through December. If you don't have a Capital Bets wagering account, sign up now. New account holders in December, as soon as you wager $50, you get $50 put into your account by Capital OTB. Free money. You can find out more about that on CapitalOTB.com. Also, Lucky Saturdays. This sounds like fun. Mentioned it at the top of the show. Next 3 Saturdays, 14th, 21st, 28th. If you come down to the Clubhouse Racebook, right here, 711 Central Avenue in Albany, there will be a drawing held top of each hour, 1, 2, 3, and 4 p.m. 2 patrons will be selected during each drawing. One of the patrons will get a chance to go into the cash cube. The other patron gets a chance to spin the big wheel. Cash cube, you go in, you pull up as much funny money as you can in 20 seconds. That's counted then, and that amount is given to you as either a win, place, or show bet on the next race at Aqueduct. So that should be a lot of fun. Just watching somebody in the cash booth trying to pile up the money for their wager should be fun. The entertainment value will be there for the folks who don't get selected. So one patron into the cash cube, the other patron gets to spin the big wheel, which has a bunch of prize items on it, racing merchandise, bet vouchers. So again, 2 patrons selected, top of each hour, 1, 2, 3, and 4 p.m. The next 3 Saturdays down here, lucky Saturdays, at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Also at the Clubhouse Racebook next Sunday, a reminder, it is a live bankroll that will be hosted by my Loose on the Lead Sunday morning cohort, Steve Bick of Sirius and XM's At the Races. He'll have $500 that he will be playing during the afternoon next Sunday. 25 patrons who show up here at the Clubhouse Racebook on that Sunday will be selected randomly and will participate in that bankroll. Should be fun. So a lot of good events coming up here at Capital OTB. Going to wind things up for Racing Across America for this Tuesday morning. Racing Across America is here every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m., 10 to 11. Prior to that, Handicappers Report, 9 to 10. We give out some selections and thoughts. This morning, Mike Jarbo, unfortunately, was in here. Same happened yesterday to Anthony Mormino. Both of them handicapped Parks, and subsequently only found out after they finished Parks is canceled. So Parks has been a little bit of a bad situation weather-wise over the past couple of days. Parks again canceled for this afternoon. I, however, took a look at Finger Lakes. Hopefully I gave out some good info. Maybe some of the guests on today did as well. Cash some tickets this afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.